So now we are going to talk about the place value, and this is an important concept because when we do three-digit addition or subtraction or any other similar operations, we need to understand what it means to, let's say, borrow from the left or carry forward to the left and so on. So this concept of place value is important to explain a lot of the operations, how we are doing it and why we are doing them. Let me just expand this a little. So let's go through a couple of examples here and then talk in a little detail about what the place value is. Right, so it says calculate the place values of the underlying numbers. Let's take the first example here. The number is 5467 and they're asking for the place value of 6. So one thing to note is that the place value of a number is not the number itself, but it's the value because or on account of it holding a certain position in the representation of this number. We are using a decimal number system, so everything is to the base 10. And let's go over this example to understand what the place value is. So I'm going to write this number again, 5467. So we, again, as usual, we assign value from right to left. So this place is called ones place or units place. Units place, also called ones place. The 6 is in tens place. So 4 is in hundreds place. This 5 is in thousands place. So the place value of a number, of this number 6, let's call it place value PV of 6, is actually 6 times it's the value of its place, which is 10, which is 60. So the place value of 6 is 60. Let's take another example here. The second example, it says 3214 and they want the place value of 2. So 3214, this is units place, this is ones place, or rather this is tens place, this is hundreds place, and this is thousands place. So this is 3200, 10 and 4. These are the place values of the numbers. So the place value of 2 is actually 2 times its place is the place of 100. So it is 2 times 100, which is 200. So here we have this place value is 200. Now before we go on into the next example, let's talk about this in a little more detail of how this place value comes about and so on. So imagine that we have let's say a bunch of pebbles or rocks and we want to count them. I'm just drawing a few dots here and I want to count them. So the way I would count them is maybe I can just use brute force and count them one by one. And maybe these are, I don't know how many dots there are, maybe there are 50 dots. Or another way to count them would be to group them into smaller groups of 10 and then count those number of groups. So this, I don't know how many dots there are, let's count them. So it's the way I would count them is forming small groups, 5 6 7 8 9 10. This is, let's call it group 1, and then take some more dots and that becomes, this is a group 2. And suppose there are such groups are formed. Suppose this is group 5 and all the dots or all the pebbles are now accounted for. So each group has 10 rocks. and there are no more rocks left. It is exactly 50 rocks that are accounted for. So the way we write it is, in the place value notation would be, there are two places in which we want to write the number of groups of 10 rocks each, and this is remaining rocks, and this number has to be less than 10, because if it were 10 or more, then I could have formed another group and counted it in the tens place. So this number is 50. So that's how the number 50, that's the meaning of the number 50, that there are 5 groups of 10 and there are 0 remaining items or 0 remaining rocks. If it were 56, then the number would be 5 groups of 10 and 6 units, which is the number 56. So that's the meaning of place value. How many groups of 10 and how many groups of 100 and how many groups of 1000 can be formed before there are no more such groups can be formed, and then we have to go to the lesser denomination and so on. So it takes a little while to get the hang of it, but that's the meaning of the place value. So let's do one more example. 98,054. And we want the place value of 9. One thing to note here, this because this number contains a 0, the place value of 0 is always 0. It's good to remember that, because 0 times 10 or 100 or 1000 or any other number is 0. So to remember it easily, the place value of 0 is always going to be 0. So we have here, this is the units place again, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place, and 10,000s place. Right, so the place value of 9 is actually 9 times 10,000, which is 90,000. So that's what we have here. And the fourth number is actually, fourth example is actually easy. 7694, and they're asking for a place value of 4. Clearly the place value of 4 is 4 because 4 is in units place. So that's how we understand, and that's how we calculate place value of numbers. And this is how a lot of the subsequent operations that we need to do, such as say 2-digit or 3-digit addition or subtraction. When we are doing 2-digit addition, let's take a small example that will make this concept a little clearer. So let's consider 2-digit addition with carry. Let's consider 2-digit addition here. Suppose I want to add 17 plus 25. The way we are doing this conceptually is, what is this? 7 plus 5 is actually, the number is 12. I'm just going to write it here. I know it is wrong, but let's just write it here and understand. The number here is 12, but according to our logic earlier, we want to group numbers into groups of 1 and groups of 10 and groups of 100 and so on. With the biggest denomination that we can find, we want to use that one. So this number can be written as 10 plus 2. So there is already a group of 10 that can be formed. So we don't want to write the number 12 here. We want to just write 2 and take this 10, which is a group of 10, into this bunch of group, which is another set of numbers which are again groups of 10. So let's do it again. 17 plus 25. 7 plus 5 is 12, but I only write a 2 here, and one group of 10 was formed, so I mark that as a carry here. Carry is 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 2 is 4. So that's why the answer is 42. There are 4 groups of 10 and 2 groups of 1 or 2 units are left. So that's how we can understand what is 2-digit addition or subtraction in the light of the place value.